Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles are on the road in Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. A big-time matchup. My two favorite picks are on the way, as well as an Underdog Fantasy entry. What's going on? My name's Austin from Calling a Shot. Now, normally I would hop into a recap of how our picks did, but we still have several going on right now. So I'll recap how we did on Sunday in Thursday Night Football's video. But man, it has been a bad break central all season long, and Jerome Ford was the latest victim in terms of a bad luck, bad break. It has just been a terrible NFL season for you guys. I've been losing some money. You guys have been losing money if you've been tailing me. It's been a bad season. But what that does mean is we are due. Like, I hate saying, hey, this guy's due, but we've had a lot of good reads this season. We've just been losing in crazy different ways. Like Jerome Ford, rush attempts. We had 8 in the first quarter, but some reason the Browns want to throw it 43 times with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He ends with 12. It was a 1.5 unit play. Brutal. But I'm confident the rest of the season we're going to have good luck. And once the good luck turns our way, we're gonna absolutely destroy the book. So look, they've been taking a beating on us for the first 2/3 of the season so far. We're dominating the rest of the season. You guys have my word. The luck's gonna go our way eventually. And speaking of luck, speaking of free squares though, Underdog Fantasy has a free square right now for Patrick Mahomes to get 1 yard only for new users that sign up using our code COS or the top link in description. You also get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Like I said at the end of the video, I'm gonna have an Underdog Fantasy entry. You could slide that free square into Patrick Mahomes into that entry, and you might have a good job of making some money. Here's all the states that Underdog is eligible in. Just make sure you have pick 'em, and you are good to tail that entry at the end of the video and get that free square if you are a new user. Just make sure you use our code COS or the top link in description. But before we talk about that, let's dive into our 2 regular picks, and then we'll talk about Underdog Fantasy a little bit more at the end. We're going to a guy that I'm sure you guys have heard of. His name is Travis Kelce. I like his over 73.5 receiving yards, -114 on FanDuel. Now, I love this matchup, honestly, for Kelce versus the Eagles. He's coming off a bad game. Technically they had their bye week last week. So back in Germany, he only had a couple of receptions for 14 yards against the Dolphins. They basically put their whole defense on him, let anyone else beat them. I don't see the Eagles doing that. Now, if you were to say, hey, look at last year's Super Bowl, he did have 81 yards in that game. Mahomes only threw for 182. So he still hit the over in the Eagles, the Super Bowl. But I anticipate him getting a little bit more work on this game. And we've seen Kelce's last 4 games. He's been, up and down, 124, 179, then 58 and 14 receiving yards. So down weeks, these last 2 weeks, I expect him to bounce back here. He's still seeing a ton of targets, 8+ targets in 7 of 8 games. The only one he didn't get that was that last game against the Dolphins, who, like I said, put everyone they had on him. So I really think at the end of the day, this is a team that in the Eagles that cannot guard him. Their secondary has not been great this season, and I don't see them really doubling or triple teaming Kelce. I think he has plenty of opportunities to sit in some zone coverage, and you've been looking at him. Receivers have had a ton of success for Philly, especially recently. We saw in their last game, they also had to bye last week. CeeDee Lamb at 191 yards, Jake Ferguson 91. He was their tight end. Then the week before that, Jahan Dotson had 108, McLaurin had 53 or almost 60 yards, Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, all those guys at 85 or more receiving yards. So the number one option against the Eagles has been feasting, and this is a team that we know very stout at stopping the run. So I don't necessarily expect the Chiefs to avoid running the football just because the Eagles have a stout rushing line, but I do think that they're going to have a lot more success throwing the ball, which is what teams have done against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I really like Travis Kelce, the number one weapon for Patrick Mahomes. I think he has a big night. We'll take his over 73.5 receiving yards, my first play for Monday Night Football. Now, my second play is going to go to the other side. We're going to talk about a Philadelphia Eagle. And there's not many more guys we could talk about other than their quarterback, whose name is Jaylen Herz, if you didn't know. We're taking this over 32.5 pass attempts, which is currently -118 on FanDuel. Now, I don't play a ton of pass attempts lines or completions lines and things of that nature. I don't mind either of them for Jaylen Herz, but I really like this as opposed to taking the passing yards line, although the passing yards was at 236 or so, which I do think that Jaylen Herz could hit the 236, somewhere around there as passing yards, but I think he also could hit this easily 33 pass attempts, which is what we need. If it does go up to 33.5, you can take it there. Sometimes these lines can be super sharp, or you'll see the guy end on the hook either way, and that's sometimes how it goes. But so far this season, Jaylen Herz has hit this over 32.5 pass attempts in 6 of 9 games. He has had 37, so go clear in this line, but just blowing it out of the water in 5 of 9 games. And he's over this line in all 5 games on the road. So when they're on the road, they tend to throw it a little bit more. And I'm not necessarily sure if maybe their defense is struggling, so they have to play catch up, or what the case is, or maybe those are just closer games. But I just don't think they're going to have to pass against the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs' defensive line is always hit or miss. They do have Chris Jones in there, but their defensive line, I think, is capable enough of stacking up this rushing attack from the Eagles, which obviously their O-line is the number one weapon they really have, honestly. But I still do think that this is going to be an Eagles team that has to throw the football. And sometimes in these matchups against other high-octane offenses, you see them throwing the ball even more. And we saw in the Eagles' only loss this season, Hertz, 45 pass attempts against the New York Jets. Now, in Hertz' other 3 games where he went under, you saw the Eagles 34, 33, and 47 rush attempts. So clearly, if the Eagles have a lot of success on the ground, they're going to continue to go to it. But in a game that they are underdogs in, could they be trailing in this one? Sure. If they're trailing, they're going to throw it. They love the man in the run when they're down. But I still do think this is just a matchup they want to throw the football a little bit more against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, obviously, their D-line and their secondary, you never really know what you're going to get, but their defense has been pretty good this season. And so I think at the end of the day, they're going to lean on Hertz's arm, and maybe he does a little bit on the ground himself, rushing, and maybe in play action passes and things of that nature. But I think he at least throws the ball 33 or more times. If the Eagles do trail in this game, which they are underdogs, I think this is an easy one to get. I think they want to get the ball in the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smiths, those guys' hands. And obviously Swift is his own. He can get catches out of the backfield. I really like this pass attempts line for Jaylen Herz. I think the line should be closer to like 34.5. I really like this one. On the road, I think they lean on his arm a little bit more. Give me his over 32.5 pass attempts. Now, let's get into Underdog Fantasy and let's wrap up this video. Like I said, we're going to talk about this Underdog Fantasy. They have a free square for Patrick Mahomes to just get 1 yard. It's only for new users. So if you are a new user on Underdog, definitely take advantage of it. Use our code COS. You also get a 100% deposit match, and you can use that free square, throw it into this, and you're going to have a 4-leg entry. I'm using these three legs. You see my Travis Kelce. Already talked about his receiving yards over. Jaylen Hertz, already talked about his pass attempts over. The one I have not talked about is Isaiah Pacheco, higher than 12.5 rush attempts. Now, in an ideal world, we see maybe Kelce feasting, getting the Eagles down, and we see them having to pass, and we see the Chiefs running it. I think that's kind of all correlated in one way. But like I said, I do not expect the Chiefs to just abandon the run. I know the Eagles have a stout rushing defense, but I still don't think they're just going to say, oh, Pacheco, get lost, buddy. We're throwing it 150 times per game. I think they want to keep that balanced attack. That feels like how Andy Reid wants to attack this game. And coming to this game, fully healthy. They had a week off, so, Pacheco doesn't have to worry about, some lingering issues. Had a week to work through those. And so I think they're still going to give it to him 13 times. I don't necessarily know if he's averaging, 6 yards a carry, but he could get 13 carries for 35 yards, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. So I think they're going to have to lean on the run. You saw them do that in the Super Bowl last year. I think Pacheco had, I want to say 16, 17 carries, had a lot of success at like 75 rushing yards in that game. So I really like this one. $25 turns into $150. I think we had a chance hitting that one. Look, I've hit crazier ones. We had an NBA one on Saturday. NFL one did not get it done on Sunday, but I'm so confident in these guys to get it done. 3 legs, $25 into $150. Make sure you sign up using our code COS or the top link in the description. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100, and you get a Patrick Mahomes free square. Those are my 2 favorite picks of the day. I know this NFL season has not been good. Like, I put a lot of effort into these videos, into the picks, and they just have not yielded the results we've necessarily wanted. 2 years ago, we were up about 43 units in the NFL. Last year, a down year for us, we're up only 20-ish units. This year, we're at like minus 10. It's just been a terrible year. I know the good luck. I mean, I feel like I know what I'm doing. Like, we're doing really well in the NBA right now, though. As I was watching, right before I hit record, Scotty Barnes did not get it done due to a blowout. That was fun, but I really just think we've had some good reads in here. Derrick Henry, sure, not a great read on Sunday, but I really do think that Jerome Ford read should have hit 8 rushing attempts in the first quarter. A game you never trail in, and you still can't give him the rock 14 times. Just bad reads there, or bad luck in my opinion. So either way, let's bounce back. Let's go 2-0 tonight. Continue some momentum. Let's get some good luck on our side. Feels like anytime we get a little bit of luck, we get like 6 bad breaks. And they're like, oh, here's one little link of luck. I'm like, oh, yay. And then there's 6 more bad ones. So we're going to have a good day. Jaylen Hertz, we're your fan. Go throw the ball a ton. Travis Kelce, go get some yards too. Those are our 2 favorite picks of the day. Let's cash our Underdog Fantasy entry. And I will see you guys in the next one, our NBA Best Bets video, which will be live, in the mornings. I'll link that on the screen once it is live. Go check it out. We've been dominating the NBA so far this season. I'm Austin. I'm signing out. See you guys in the next one. Peace.